Okay, sometimes, um, it seemed a lady one time had asked me, like, why is it I be feeling crazy? And, it was like, sometimes it be the people, not all the people. And those people who was grown people having sex with a child, you know? And the crazy part about it, some people be claiming them as being they baby mama or they baby daddy and stuff like that. And having children with them. It's crazy. I don't understand why a person would think that bringing more children into the world from a grown person who was having sex with a child is what some people think the world needs more of them. It seems crazy. If a person knows a grown person was having sex with a child, it seems crazy voluntarily getting pregnant and having a baby for them or with them, creating, you know, the species of beings with the character of being grown people having sex with a child, you know, it seems crazy, you know. And when I was growing up, it was people talking about it was a different time or the time or the different times and stuff. And I never knowed about it. I never knowed it was a certain day or a certain time or it was I never understood. I still don't understand like what time they talking about. Like, is it 10 o'clock or is it 12 o'clock? Is it 3 o'clock? Is it after school? Like, I was never a grown person having sex with a child. I don't understand what the time would have to do with it. If it's 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. A grown person having sex with a child is a grown person having sex with a child. And if the people had a lot of money, a lot of houses, a lot of cars, was famous on TV, had a good job, or made a lot of money and stuff like that, it still is no reason for having sex and making a pregnancy with a grown person that is known for having sex with a child. It's crazy. And I stay away from those types of people. If it seems like a person who is a grown person who is having sex with a child, you know, a grown person who was having sex with a child seems the wrong way of being. And I never understood, I still don't understand when people claim to being the baby mama or the baby daddy of a grown person who is known for having sex with a child. You know, it's crazy. With all the problems inside of the world today, I don't think anyone needs to be having sex with a grown person who was having sex with a child. A person who was a grown person while having sex with a child. You know, I don't think anyone needs to be voluntarily getting pregnant from a grown person who was having sex with a child. And the reason why I think is because if a grown person was having sex with a child and a person made a pregnancy with them, what if the child ended up being a grown person having sex with a child? A sex offender, guilty of sex crimes. And it's crazy because some people would be saying, oh, well, it was a different time or it was a long time ago. And some people be saying, no, a person either is that way or a person either is not that way. If a person is a grown person who is having sex with a child, especially if more than one time, especially if made them pregnant, and all of that, it would seem crazy for a person voluntarily getting pregnant from them, making more of them, of that type of being grown people who would have been having sex with a child while the grown person is a grown person and the child is a child. You know? And it's crazy. It bothers my mind and my brain. It's like I can't stop talking about it. All the trauma, from years ago. And it seemed like some people still was doing it. It seemed like some people still doing it. It seemed like some people is still doing it to grown people who was having sex with a child. It seemed like some people was claiming being in relationships with grown people who was having sex with a child. And I never want to be attached to those types of people, which is why, when they say, oh, they're having a family get together or a party or a gathering, and it's going to be some friends and some family and in-laws and, stuff like that. I say no. I'm not interested because growing up in the household as a child, growing up, it seems most of those grown people were having sex with a child. And some of the children did not care as long as the grown person called them their favorite and gave them money. Some of the children got mad and told, and moved away. I am evidence of when a child, myself, I told and I moved away from the state of Alabama to the state of Georgia because when grown people was having sex with a child and claiming being friends and family and in-laws and stuff like that, I was never having sex with a child. I never had sex with anyone outside of the identity of my marriage license certificate. And having a marriage license certificate, they say it is not against the law having a marriage license certificate and having sex with a marriage license certificate being evidence of a marriage. So I never really understood, and I still don't understand why grown people was having sex with a child, or why children was having sex with grown people, or why some people still be doing it. Talking about if a person got a lot of money, or if a person could get them a job, or if a person had a car, or if a person had a house, or if a person had this or had that. Some of the children said some of them would be doing it anyway. I'm not one of those types of people, you know. And a lot of people know because since I do not have a lot of money, a lot of people know, oh, Brandon's over there. He doesn't have a lot of money because he would not have sex with children. He said no to having sex with children. And he said no to being a grown person having sex with a child. He said no to having sex with other males. He said no to having sex with males. He said no to having sex with people the same gender as him. He said no to whatever kind of club or sex cult those people had going on. So he does not have a lot of money because he is not a sex worker or a prostitute or one of those people, you know, or those people with the character of doing anything for money, any stuff for money. Clothes, a house, a car, an outfit, buying friends, wanting popular, being popular characters, stuff like that. I don't know if I'm saying the words right. I'm not that smart. But, you know, having a marriage license certificate, you know, doing the job of being a husband. And what I mean by doing the job of being a husband, never having sex, you know, they say sex is called going all the way. When a person is a male, they say going all the way means when a person's private parts is inside of someone's mouth or butt or womb and going all the way until wet stuff comes out going inside the other person. And that sometimes a person could have got pregnant from doing it inside of the womb, and other people did stuff and made more than one family, when those people were claiming being grandparents and stuff and had a baby with someone claiming it was their wife, and then had a baby with someone at church, or then had a baby with someone down the street, and had all those different children and stuff. And a person was like, wait a minute. If one person is that old man's wife, and he's claiming being someone's granddad or grandfather, why was he having sex with someone else and made another baby with someone who is not his wife, or with one of the neighbors from down the street or around the corner or somewhere else? I don't know. I never did that kind of stuff like that. So it's crazy because most of the time when people would tell stories about people who was doing it those ways, it would usually seem like it would be somebody way too old with a big age gap between them and whoever the other person was that was his baby mama, or I don't know. Sometimes they call them sugar daddies, or I don't even know what that stuff is. What it seems like it is to me is it was old people having sex with whoever wanted some money or a car or a house or stuff like that. I don't know what it was. And a lot of those people got mad after having a baby and being a single mom or a single parent. And a lot of those people, they said, was fighting each other about some man and the sex that he had with all of them. And I'm not interested in causing those types of problems for ladies, for women, for females, because with all the problems the world already has, I think it's crazy when a person uses their private parts and their sex as a way of causing trouble and having people fighting and arguing and taking each other's lives because of the sex from a person's private parts, doing it to people not married to them, and creating families of being mad at each other because of the sex someone else had, which is why I never did it. Because if someone was mad about the sex someone had with someone, I never did it because I never had sex. What they call going all the way. Whether it was in someone's butt or mouth or womb, outside of the identity of my marriage license certificate. I never did it. So, looking at all of those stories in the news about all of the fighting and people taking each other's lives and all of the pregnancies, it's crazy. I don't understand why people would be getting pregnant, you know, from people with a character of being a problem, a sex problem to America, to the community, to others, you know, causing fights and arguments and sex problems from using their own private parts, making a bunch of different families. And the craziest part is, I don't understand why anyone would be making a family of children from a grown person who is having sex with a child. What if the child has the character of being a grown person having sex with a child and making problems because of the sex people had, you know, because someone was like, what if the dad was a grown person having sex with a child and you got pregnant from him? What if his child is the same way as the dad being a grown person having sex with a child? Which is why they say it's crazy having sex with them, making pregnancies with them, adding problems to the world when it's already grown people who is having sex with a child. There's no need for making any more children from a grown person who was having sex with a child, is what some people say. So, you know, I think it's crazy for a child having sex with a grown person or a grown person having sex with a child, you know, which is why my character never had sex with a person outside of the identity of my marriage license certificate. Because when all of those people get mad at grown people that was having sex with a child, and when all of those people get mad at people who was doing it for money and stuff like that, and when all of those people get mad at those people who ruined their families from their own sex that those people was having with each other, I'm not the one known for being a grown person having sex with a child. So there's no reason for getting mad at me for the families and the problems other people made.